Hello everybody and welcome to another weekly creation video. This I think is week 13, but we can't call it Gulliver vlog anymore, much to my sadness. I liked that name. Because we're not talking about Gulliver, we're going to be talking about other things that we are doing. As we said before, we had to pack everything up for Gulliver into a lovely trunk and pop it into the store until next year, owing to everything that is currently going on. And I think we firstly wanted to just say that these videos are going to take a slightly different turn from now on. We're going to be more kind of week by week what we're doing. We feel a little bit like we're spinning plates at the moment because we don't really know what's going to happen. From day to day, everything seems to change. Doesn't do me any good because I like to plan. I'm quite an anxious person, so it's not very good for me. But nonetheless, we are trying to keep the company alive at the moment, even though we can't really do what we were made and created to do. So we have lost our major income stream owing to the current situation. Obviously we can't perform, so all the performances are cancelled for this year. So we had to quite quickly try and think of something that we could do to keep the company alive and well and in people's consciousness, but also bring a little bit of money in. So one of the things.
So it's the tricky thing, and we've mentioned it in the previous ones, previous videos, is that we, as we said, have been splitting the days out of necessity. Obviously we've got to be ready to go ahead with the performances that we had booked in potentially, but we've also got to produce something that can bring in a little bit of income now, that we can share with people now, some kind of work that we can do right now. The first thing we've been doing, and the first thing that we have sort of put out, has been a couple of audio dramas. So we did a version of Casting the Runes, which is based on the stories by M.R. James. And that was very much a proper kind of radio drama with, background noises and effects and all that kind of thing. You can find these on our website, by the way, if you haven't listened to them already. And we also did Alice in Wonderland, which is obviously aimed at families. And that was more like an audio book, but with characters. We were playing all
with
characters.
Music. And,
yeah. I don't know what the correct word for that is. Anyway, we debated quite a lot in the beginning what was the best thing to be able to do, and obviously the difficulty with trying to film any theatre, even with the best of resources, is that it's a difficult medium to come across on screen, on video. So if you've got the resources of the National Theatre, well then you might be able to
just about capture. I mean, even then you'd rather be there, or I would rather be there.
As brilliant as those are, it's not the same as being there in the room. So we talked about whether we could film some of our shows in here, and we haven't completely dismissed the idea, but the thing is, we'd want it to be something we could be proud of. We don't want to put anything out that is a compromise,
No.
or that feels like, oh, well, we better put something out because because we're stuck here. So the audio drama things that we came up with, we were really proud of. It was not something we had ever done before, so we were experimenting with the best ways of recording it, the best ways of making the sound effects. We were very lucky in that a chap who'd come to see a couple of our shows in the past, a guy called John Wood, who is a professional sound designer and sound mixer. He had offered a long time ago to help us out with sound effects and stuff if we ever needed it. And when he heard that we were doing these audio dramas, he got in touch again and said he would be happy to help. And that's been absolutely fantastic because it's really meant that we could put a kind of professional polish on those pieces of work.
He also gave us a nice bit of advice as well, so that then we decided we were going to carry on with the audio dramas, didn't we?
Yes, we're going to do 2 more.
We've got 2 more in the works, certainly. So we've casting the Runes, The Tone of the Screw, our other ghost story, is going to be the next one, and that's in the works currently. And John helped us with, telling us how we ought to record the dialogue initially, because obviously we're in this lovely studio, but it's wooden, it's got quite a pingy acoustic. And so he said, first thing you need to do, I mean, we should have thought of it really, it's pretty obvious, but nonetheless, is make kind of a blanket den or pad yourself out as much as you can. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, then you won't really understand what I'm next going to say, but if you do, you will have seen our proper blanket den. It was like we were back in preschool, and we sat under that to record the dialogue to dampen the acoustics.
So that was a bonus.
So that was a bonus.
Getting to make a blanket fort.
Yeah.
That's the upside. So we have now recorded all of the dialogue audio for both of those, for the Turn of the Screw and also
for The Wind in the Willows, which is going to be our next family one.
And we're working on those at the moment, and hopefully we'll be able to put them out within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And what we decided to do was to put those out for free and basically just add a little disclaimer at the start and at the end, explaining the situation to people and saying, look, if you can afford to help us at the moment, if you can afford kind of the price of a ticket, then it would be great if you could make a donation. And the lovely thing is, loads of people have been incredibly supportive, so that's helped us out at the moment quite a lot. We are also talking about the other possibilities, other ideas, other things that we could potentially do at the moment. We don't want to go into detail on all of that here, but we've got a little spreadsheet of various different ideas, various different stages of development.
And depending on what happens, that's the key thing. So really, I suppose the next thing to say is that we are supposed to be doing the Christmas productions at the Everyman Theatre in their studio space at Christmas time this year.
Which is fantastic.
Which is wonderful. And we're very...
When we found out about that at the beginning of the year, or last year...
we were really, really excited.
News.
But we've no idea at the moment whether they will go ahead. Everybody is keeping their fingers crossed. The theatre are obviously keeping their everything crossed. We are supposed to be doing Hansel and Gretel for the family audience and A Christmas Carol for our kind of evening show. 2 titles, which again we're so excited about.
And people have been saying to us that we should do A Christmas Carol for
years,
ages. So we're quite excited to have ideas about it now and have a way.
It was something that before, when people mentioned it, we didn't really feel brave enough to do. We didn't really feel like we'd learned enough and honed our skills. Now we feel like we can attack it quite well. We've got ideas. So we are hoping very, very much that they will go ahead, and therefore, obviously, we have to plan as if they are going to happen, otherwise we will get majorly behind. So we are going to be starting work on those. We've already done a bit of work. We've already got the scripts up to a kind of rehearsal draft stage, and we've also done some designing. So we're going to be carrying on with that over the coming weeks. We're going to be starting to make prototype puppets, design puppets, carry on with the costume design, carry on with the set design, progress that further and start making. And we'll basically be doing that as long as we think they're going to be happening. Hope they do happen, and if they don't, then we've got our spreadsheet.
Yes, and that is the hardest part at the moment, is that we've got to be ready for it. We've got to proceed as if it's going to happen, and then we've also got to be prepared for the news that it might not happen and what we're going to do if that doesn't go ahead. So these videos, like we said, are going to be a bit more like a diary.
Ad hoc.
Yeah, it could go either way. Whatever happens, we'll be sharing what we're working on, how we're doing it, showing you the stuff that we're making, and hopefully you'll stick around and join us for all of that. Incidentally, if there's anything in particular that you'd like to know about how we've made something, or what we use to do the audio dramas, or anything like that, anything in particular you'd like to know more about, please do drop us a message or let us know in the comments, and we will try to expand on that.
So, thanks very much, and we will see you next week for who knows what we've been up to.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have a title for these things by then.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm at a loss what to do about this albatross that I've got hanging round my neck. There's been no breeze for days, see, I'm going crazy. The crew are lying dead upon the deck. There was 4 times 50 living men, I heard no sigh or groan. With a heavy thump, life was